Hey everybody, it's Chris. Welcome to the very next Tips of the Week video. This is video number 2, and this is coming from a viewer question where they asked, they said they were trying to become a better pattern maker and a better fashion designer altogether, and a better sewer and everything. And basically, they wanted to know when you're doing your, when you're working with your bodice and you get around to the back side of it, a lot of times you get this extra fabric, right, where the bodice and the skirt come together. You get this extra fabric sticking out right there. And they wanted to know what they could do to get rid of some of that. So I'm going to go through in this video different things that they could do, or a couple of different things that they could try. That way you can get that all worked out and figure some of your problems out and move on to whatever's next on your agenda. Okie dokie. So here we are, we're looking at our torso pattern foundation, which is just your basic dress. It has bust darts, it has 2 darts on each quarter that are fisheye darts. So here's 2, another bust dart, and 2 in the back as well. Now, I tried to kind of recreate what they were saying in their comment, and so I left it unpinned for the moment, just so we can look at it. And if I start pinning here at the top, I'm running this together like it goes, you can start to see the extra on it here. And you actually can see it at first anyway. But as I pin it together, normally the way that most people pin it together, they'll hold it in one side and then they'll pin it. When really, this is way number 1, that you can keep a lot of this piece from appearing in the middle, is if you kind of pull at it while you're doing it. If you grab it on the longest edge and kind of tug at it while you're doing it, it'll fix it in. So maybe if you join it like this, and then tug at it and then reposition, that'll help a little. Let me come on this other side. So once again, kind of pull at it, line it, do it like this. You'll see it's not quite straight like you want it, and then you pull at it a little bit more and realign it. And that will help you get it where all the room is kind of pulled out. Okay? So that's way number 1 to eliminate a lot of this back craziness. Okay? When you see I don't even have to finish pinning it before you can see that pretty much my problem is gone here. Now yes, it's moved down there, and the same thing you could do at the top when you're pinning it up here once again. Just move it and readjust it. I didn't even go for it. Just move it and readjust it. And you gradually start to see this ease move out of it. You see it straight now. And so as you pin it, it'll just kind of relax back into place. And you'll have a little bit. Now, I will say that a little bit is normal. You can have a little bit down here and it won't be a big deal. I would say 1/4 of an inch extra, maybe even as much as like 1/2 inch extra back here. And really 1/2 inch extra, once you pinch it, it should only measure to like 1/4 of an inch on the top and 1/4 on the bottom of the pinch. Just like if you pinch this, then you can see that's 1/4 and 1/4, which makes it 1/2 inch total. So the same thing, if you pinch it and that's what you get, you have 1/2 inch, or even smaller than that, you have about 1/8 of an inch, which I probably here had like 1/8 of an inch or so. That's okay. It's not going to be perfectly flat, even if you have 1/2 an inch, or maybe even 3/4 of an inch. That's okay. Once it gets on a real person that moves and breathes and does all those other things, it'll fill out and it won't look as bad. Because when you think about it, you're going to need some of that room in here, especially if a person eats. You're going to need this extra little room back here that lets the person breathe. Now, another reason why you could have this extra coming across here could also be because your darts aren't cinching the waist as much as they could be. Because when you have room, and you can tell really easily by just opening this back up, once you open this back up, you have that signature room right there that we normally look at. And really all I did, like I said, I just opened it and just released it. So now we have all this extra room, and now you have this big couch right here. So if you just take that room back in, it's like that magically just disappears. And you see it's even still just kind of almost like it's rebelling against what I'm telling it to do. But once I kind of fit it in place and tug at it like I told you, it all kind of fits back out. And it looks correct. Let's see. And then the other thing, if it ultimately you're still having problems with it, maybe if your form is a weird shape that you can't get to really well, it could be problems with your pattern and other things. I would suggest going ahead and making a seam across here that you would have just on the back and not on the front. Making a seam across here, and then just going up the amount that you need. Only take a little bit. Don't try to take all of it out, because they also made a comment, or a question about the grain line. How do you keep the grain line from going crazy when you're doing that? Now you can always have them. It's a horizontal balance line that they have going across the shoulders and across the chest that will help you keep this balance. If you can pin all that in place, and that way, once all that's pinned, and let's just pretend we have one over here. Well, all of this is pinned, this isn't going to move up there. So then you can just play with the bottom and just make sure that doesn't move. And so while you're taking all of this out, you can say, okay, so it's still on balance. And then also pin the skirt so the skirt doesn't move, and then you'll just take that out there. Now on skirt patterns, okay, if you look at a skirt pattern, you can see this is already compensated for in the pattern. This is the back pattern here. And you'll notice that this is the center back. You can already see it's curved down in order to pinch out that extra that comes in here. So if you had the extra in, it would probably be a little bit higher. Maybe even about there. And then you'd always have that problem where there's too much room in the back of the skirt. But you see, they already fixed that by taking that out. So that's the same thing you would do on here, would be to take that out. Because you really can't do much about it on your torso other than to play with the darts. If you take the darts in, that's going to take out some of that room. Because as you pull like this, let's just pretend again. As you pull like this, you see it's pulling out more. So let's just imagine we're pulling this back straight. And this should start to straighten out. It's pulling out because it has nowhere else to go. But if it was pulling to get something else, it would straighten a little bit. Okay? Now I hope I'm getting the point across. But if you have a lot of room and it's not as tight as it could be, that's probably why that's happening. Now, a good example, let me turn it around. I'm just going to pin this here. Okay. Good example is here on the front. You can see these stress lines a lot better on camera than you can in person. Because the shadows are a lot darker. That's basically just telling you there's all this extra room in here. This pattern does not fit like a glove. There's extra room in there for ease and for, like I said, when you put a real person in there, they're going to be breathing and other things. And this isn't a corset, so this does not need to be skin tight. But you can see there's all this extra room that you could take in if you really wanted to. And all you would have to do is do this, and all this folding will gradually disappear. That's what I was trying to illustrate on the back, but I didn't. But other than that, you just have all this nice folding, and you could pinch this like this and have the same effect on the front and have that same problem. And then we'll be wondering, how do you get rid of all this extra here? And if you just play with this, then you see since it's connected, then it actually shows you what's going to happen. And as you do your darts a little tighter, that'll flatten out some. Okay? And then, after that flattens out, like I said, try the pinning technique. Like I said, you kind of hold it and then tug at it, and that'll straighten it to make sure that you make this seam as straight as possible when you're pinning it. Okay? And that's it. So I hope that answers your question. I will see you guys later. Leave any comments. Let me know if you have any extra questions, and I'll answer them in the comment section. Or if you have any suggestions for another video. So